A 7¼ inch gauge Sweet William steam locomotive Part 74. This job is now nearing completion, loosely fitting the cab and saddle tank and carefully bending the piping, allowing the connection of the cold water supply to the axle pumps and the hand pump. This is the pipe that balances the water level and allows take-off points to feed the mechanical pumps with water. I will also be fitting a 90-degree globe valve, and here it is, to the block in the centre of the pipes. This is to drain the tank of water. As it says clearly on the label, it is a 1/4 inch pipe, 90-degree globe valve. I bought this from Blackgates Engineering. This is a very high quality globe valve made by Chris English at CM Engineering. The first thing I need to do is remove the union nut, because this globe valve will screw directly into the block on the pipe. Even though the water in the saddle tank is at atmospheric pressure, I don't want any chance of a leak, and as you can see here, for that reason I'm using some Loctite 542 thread sealant. Here is the threaded hole in the block into which the globe valve will fit. I was lucky with this one. I did not require any shim washers. As I tightened up the valve, it was in precisely the right place. I will make a piece of pipe that fits into the globe valve to carry the water away from the engine, for the times when the tank is being emptied. This is how these components are going to fit to the saddle tank. It's quite neat really. All the unions are right in the centre where they need to be. I quite like visible piping to be neat, because on a lot of engines, especially saddle tank engines, the piping is usually a mess. The fitting job begins by using some masking tape underneath the cab to stop the cab from scratching the paint on the footplate. I'm sure some damage will occur, but it's not a problem. Before I finally finish the engine, I'll give the footplate yet another coat of paint. Obviously this part isn't finished, it needs painting. I've come to an arrangement with the owner, and he's going to paint the tank and cab. I can only paint items of this size outside on the picnic bench during the summer months. The next part of the job is to fit the 6 bolts that hold the saddle tank to the cab. I'll run the video at a high speed because this is a very simple job. The 2BA nuts that I'm using here are one size down from the normal ones. They're perfect for the space that I require between the saddle tank and the cab. I do not want the saddle tank to touch the cab, because over time it will rub off the paint and then rust will be a problem. As always, I'm using my small Barco spanner to tighten the nuts. You will notice that it doesn't round the edges. And I have nothing to do with the company Barco other than being a satisfied customer. This next part of the job really is tricky. I have to lift the cab into position without marking the existing paint, and believe me, it's a tight fit. I should really say it's a tight fit until I get it in the right position. Here you can see how the cab sits on top of the reinforcement bars. It looks quite neat. A quick health and safety notice. During the rebuild of this engine, the number of times I've banged my head on the corner of the cab now runs into double figures, so I've put some packing on the corners to stop this from happening. And now with the cab in place, it's time to fit the saddle tank. Once again, this is quite a tricky job. It initially has to align with the 6 bolts on the cab, and I have to fit it without marking the paint on either the chimney or the boiler barrel. During this sequence, it looks like the tank is not in the right place and a bit wonky, but it isn't. It's the camera angle. Please don't get confused. Everything has been checked with a set square, and everything is sitting at 90 degrees. In this clip, I'm fitting some 2BA nuts to the bolts that go through the brass angle of the saddle tank. I fit the saddle tank to the cab at both sides, but I'm only showing this side. The next part of the sequence is quite difficult. It's getting the tank to align with the holes in the mounting bracket. I am going to modify this somewhat. The good news is the holes do align with the mounting bracket, and here I've put some mahogany strip packing in place to make it easier to see where the bolt holes are. I want to use studs on this job, and the packing tells me there is enough clearance to allow this to happen. I've put the same amount of packing at this side so as not to stress out the tank. Now it's fun time. I'm going to put the water fitting in place first, followed by removing the inlet pipe to the pump because I need to bend this to a different angle, and also silver solder a union cone on the end. I need to cut this union pipe because it's too long, and also I need to change the union nut from 1/8 BSP to 3/8 by 32 threads per inch, which will fit the steam unions that are in the block that I made. In this clip I'm using a 2BA countersunk bolt to check the fit of the holes in the saddle tank into the holes in the bracket. This bolt is too long and I'm not going to use it anyway. More about this method of tank fixing in another episode very shortly. Back now to this job, and it really was a pain getting this water pipe from the pump out of the frames and onto the bench. It was bad enough unspannering the 2 union nuts onto the pump. That little job, just the unspannering, took over half an hour. I really felt the pain of the original builder. By the time he got to this stage, he must have been really sick of it. Looking on the bright side, finally I got the piece of pipe out of the frames, cut off the original pipe union, and here I've been having a practice putting the part back into the frames and removing it again. And that is it for now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.